Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Neil, 10th Man, the Adam Meakin, Eli, did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. And a whole bunch of people on Discord. Welcome, one and all.
Hello. Greetings all.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Lite.
Hello. So today we've got a presentation, and it's a long time in the making, and it's going to be presented by 10th Man, and as a result we are going to step over the typical housekeeping that we do at the beginning of each of these Flat Earth debates, because we've got this presentation, and it's based on a lot of the current housekeeping question answers that we get normally after only one has been asked, which is in regards to elevation angle, because it proves the Earth is flat. However, prior to us stating it as clearly and as overtly as that, and I'll state it again just for fun, elevation angle, that proves the Earth is flat. But prior to us stating that overtly, there was many a sextant trap and others laid by 10th Man and others who are in the research / expose stage of this particular argument. So with all of that said, 10th has gathered his thoughts and developed a presentation which is going to take a wee while to go through, and I hope, I'll say this while Arwen's joined, I hope you will all beg 10th Man's indulgence while he goes through that. Once it's done, and before we get any comments from anybody... Hello, Arwen. Hello. Before we get that done, there'll also be another sort of add-on presentation or comment thing that I'm not 100% sure of what we'll get, because it's only just been passed under my nose by Adam, who's still here, is he? Is Adam here? Well, he's disappeared for now, but he'll come back and play a video which he'll narrate once 10th Man is done. So, with all that out of the way, are you ready to rock and roll, 10th Man?
Yeah, sound check, Nathan. Good?
Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, I think we're all ready to go. So, yeah, in your own time, 10th. Take it away.
Okay, I got... great. So this will be a review for most of us, because we've been talking about it for a long time now. It'll be new information for others, but it also might connect all of the little arguments and sidebars once we go through this. Because one of the things I wanted to see by dripping the information out was how the anti-flat earthers or ballers would respond when I use citations and references from their own books and showing that the Earth is a plane and a sextant is an angle measuring device. And as they responded, that's the way I would go, because then I know what to overcome as their objections. So this will tie in a lot of things. There's a few more things out there they haven't responded to yet, but they'll come in due time. So let's get it going. Sextant is an angle measuring instrument. As you see with the images here, you hold it in your hand. There's a horizon mirror. You can see at the bottom right, it's an angle, it's a right angle, and you're going to find an angle between those, that perpendicular. So let's start right away. What does measuring an angle involve? Okay, so number one, identify a vertex. So what's a vertex? Where two lines meet. So that would be O. The second step is place the center of the protractor on the vertex, as seen here. Okay, and then the third step, align the protractor's baseline along OY and note the degree. This is how you measure angles. No one's ever going to change this structure here. What kind of angles are there? Well, there's an acute angle, which is less than 90 degrees. There's a right angle, which is equal to 90 degrees. There's an obtuse angle, greater than 90 and less than 180 degrees. There's a straight angle, equal to 180 degree. There's a reflex angle, greater than 180 degrees and less than 360 degrees, and a complete angle, which is equal to 360 degrees. You can all see that. You can all see it takes straight lines. The right angle.
Sorry to interrupt. Your slides aren't changing, bro.
I switched it on mine, but I see on Nathan's thing it's not moving.
Oh, it's all going wrong. Oh, no.
It's okay.
The only thing can save the ball.
We can start. I mean, it's not that far into it. So do I need to start again or what?
No, I just pull the slides up. So
no, I know, but what do I need to do on my end?
You just click on number 2.
I did. Well, hang on. Let me go back to let me go to number 3 or the next slide.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Okay,
That's it.
That's it.
Hold on, nothing's changed.
Okay, let me go back.
Right. I know this is live, but for the live audience, just pretend none of this is happening. Okay? Right, just stop screen sharing and then start screen sharing again. It might be that the screen share itself has crashed as opposed to your program, because it sounds like your program is functioning okay.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so here again.
Literally 10th, though. The reason I weren't here was my computer just crashed totally. I had to just restart it. So gremlins.
That's a little convenient for the ball, isn't it, boys?
We're getting hacked.
Okay, I've shared the screen. Is it showing?
Still on Sextant angle measurement.
Yes.
Just go to.
No, I know, but let me switch it.
Yes.
The switch.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back. We'll start again.
No. Just you were about to move on to the next slide anyway, so.
All right. Let's go to right here then. Is this okay?
Looking good, right? Just for the audience, we're back in the room.
Okay. All right. So we just reviewed. We had a little technical difficulty, but you saw what I did here, sharing what angles are. Moving on to types of angles. This was the last slide. So you see the acute angle, the right angle, the obtuse angle, the straight angle, the reflex angle, the complete angle. Is your screen? I'm looking at my iPad. I don't see it changing.
Don't worry about that. It's all good.
Okay, perfect. All right. So a sextant is an extremely precise protractor. It's used to measure the angle between the horizon and the heavenly body. I'm going to go back a slide. So you can see here, it works with a right angle, because this would be the highest point in the sky, the zenith, and this would be your baseline. And it's always a right angle, and the angle is somewhere between 0 and 90, as you're going to see here soon. So you need a horizon. You just saw how a protractor works. It's the same principle for the sextant. What does a sextant measure? A sextant is a navigational instrument used to measure angles. In celestial navigation, it measures the angle between the horizon and the celestial body, star or a planet. If you use it horizontally, it can measure the angle between two terrestrial objects, lighthouse, spire, or pier. The sextant is a navigational tool that measures elevation using angular distances. You can use a sextant to determine the altitude in the sky of the sun, moon, or other celestial bodies relative to the horizon. Okay, so when people say you don't need a horizon, you do need some kind of horizon, whether artificial or real, you need it. Here's a star zenith. Okay, so it would be directly underneath. Here's your baseline, and here's the vertex. And here's you with the sextant. And there's your elevation, altitude, angle, one and the same, basically. Okay, what is zenith distance? Zenith distance of a body is its angular distance from the observer's zenith. So let me pause here. So this is the observer holding the sextant, and directly above him or her is the 90, the plumb
we've still got
bob.
we've still got the same thing.
Yeah. You 10th.
Yeah.
Quickly in Skype, just send over that file to me, and I'll do your sharing for you. And you just have to tell me when to change the slide.
Okay. Let me.
Okay. Again, for the audience, none of this is happening. This is actually really slick. Just look into my eyes. Don't look around the
your
eyes. Just look into the eyes.
All right,
None
I'm
of
gonna
this
stop
is happening.
sharing.
Oh, there we go. No, it seems to have jumped now.
Okay, you know what? Why do I have?
This is
two
baller
of
black
those?
magic, I'm telling you.
It is.
Shadow banning.
Okay, you want me to reboot? Adam, you want me to reboot and do it again? Because something's wrong here. If I reboot, I'm sure it's going to work.
We'll send it.
I'm counting this as evidence of Earth curve.
I am too. I mean, basically, you're proving the Earth is a sphere with this nonsense, you know.
Let me try to reboot and come back, just because I can control the movement, and it'll be a nice presentation. And then I'll send it to Adam.
Okay, yeah, you drop out, reboot if that's what you think will solve the problem. Probably
Yeah,
won't,
okay.
but we'll do that.
Sorry,
That's okay.
apologize.
We'll rattle our way through housekeeping. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve?
Just seen it.
You just saw it in the incompetence of a presentation. That'd be a no.
If the Earth didn't curve, then that wouldn't have happened.
If the Earth didn't curve, we wouldn't have a flawed 38 document presentation from 10th Man.
Exactly.
It's one of the
Perfect
better
logic.
arguments I've heard this year, actually. That.
I'll agree. That is one of the better arguments of 2022. Any evidence?
It replaces my bread becomes toast argument.
Okay. Any evidence you can have a curved adjacent whilst acquiring an elevation angle?
Yeah, this will come to that video. Maybe I should play that. It's got.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. I'll just share now. So the other day I gave Q and Fee a shout out. Bring it up now, Nathan. I'll make it big as well. I just want to reference. He goes through a lot of stuff. He does within this video. He does a lot of 3D CAD, taking on some of their assumptions, and it's some lovely sextant work sticking on a ball. And he does show one hell of a lot of problems. Okay, in terms of time and date, etc., etc., and where these things, if they're on a ball, are actually pointing to. They're not pointing to the same thing. But like I say, shout out the video. I'll post it and recommend people to watch it. But the bit I liked was this bit, which is just a little clip from one of the 50s, 60s American NASA videos. I'll just keep stopping it every so often. So, oh no, that's still the beans. Okay, so this is the clip, and they're just talking about how you navigate in space, and it's the same principle. This is your space gyroscope, and there he is looking it up. Now, these are his two sides of his mirror. What this claim says is you still need to use the horizon. So you line the left-hand horizon mirror up with the top of the leading edge of a ball, and then you move your other mirror to your star to get your landmark. That's how we navigate in space. We're still using the horizon, the leading edge of a ball, to take our angle off, even though we're no longer. God knows what the dip angle is, but as you can see here, they're confirming that. Yeah, that's what you do. Straight isn't. It's not straight. Just lining up to the horizon. And then obviously when you go in the other way and maybe you can't see the Earth, oh no, look, here's a great example of them. This is obviously real, you can see.
Hold on, why has no one ever presented this? That's obviously a real photo.
It's one of the best proofs of the year, I told you. But you can see what we're measuring in this claim, look, is the angular difference between the leading edge of a ball, the horizon, that's what it is now. Okay, and this now it gets just as farcical. You put this is what they're saying. You put the information into the computer, beep 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 beep, and then look, there you go. So that when you're a bit closer to the Earth, that's how you get your elevation angle off the surf, the leading edge of a sphere, and then ta-da! You can do the same on the moon, guys. There it is, lining it up with a point. There you go. And now I know exactly where I am in the universe. OMG.
Just such massive liars. It's unreal. Like, literally, it's a second law of thermodynamics violation operation that they're claiming to be taking part in. What an outrage. I hope people look at this and feel annoyed with this nonsense.
Sextants in space.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm back.
They don't care. Right. First of all, they make the positive that the horizon is the leading edge of a sphere. And frankly, as long as it's the leading edge of a sphere, then the moon's horizon will do just as much to take your angles off. Is what you were being fed in that. I say, go and watch it yourselves. I'll post a link in the chat when I finish sharing. But there's a lot of good geeky stuff that follows as well. I'd say in terms of plotting this, but I was just outraged at what was being presented to me. I was not outraged, aghast. Yeah, thank you.
Right, brilliant. 10th. I don't know if you've sent your file to Adam just as just in case.
No, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it here. Just a little technical help from you guys. When I present, it gives me three choices: your entire screen, a window, or a tab. The last time I did a window. Should I do entire screen this time?
A tab. Is it not
tab,
just,
okay.
It's just a tab, isn't it? And then select
No,
PowerPoint, the PowerPoint tab.
it's not select.
Then it'll be a window. Don't do your whole screen because it'll look a mess.
That's what I had last time was a window.
Yeah, stick with that.
Okay. Sure. Hold on one second.
We're holding.
I know. I'm trying to get the. Okay, so I've got.
No pressure.
Good.
No.
I'm seeing a white screen.
White screen. Just try once more to stop sharing and start sharing. Oh no, he's dropped. Oh, it's comedy of errors now.
I'll get him to send it, mate. I think.
He'll come back. We'll get there again. Once he's back, if we just do a quick test to see if it functions, and then we'll go through the whole thing from the start. So how are you, Adam? You good?
Yeah.
Jolly
Other
good.
than what?
Hold on, he's back. Go ahead, 10th. Let's just see if we can get you to share that window again. This is the kind of riveting action that gets me super chats, you know, so that looks good so far. Do you want to see if you can flick on to the next one? Also, we can't hear a word you're saying, 10th. So you must be on mute. Yeah, well,
10th, you're on mute.
you're on mute, 10th. But we can see that the screen's flicking, so once we've got 10th man back off mute, we'll start the presentation. As
Okay, am I okay now?
You're brilliant. Right.
Coming through loud and clear.
Brilliant.
Sorry.
No, don't apologise. It's just one of those things. Do you want to start from the start?
Yeah, definitely. All right, Sextant angle measuring instrument. We're going to be talking about what it can and it cannot do. All right, for some of you, it's a review. Some of you, it's new information. And let's go ahead and begin. So basically, what is it to measure an angle? So as you can see here, step one, identify the vertex. So O is the vertex. Step two, place the center of a protractor on the vertex. Pretty simple. And then step three, align the protractor's baseline along OY and note the degree. That's how the sextant works. That's how protractors work. Sextant is a glorified protractor. Well, how many angles are there? What types are there? So acute angle, less than 90 degrees.
Not working.
I switched. It's not working. It worked yesterday.
Just send it
All
me
right,
and I'll
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
There you go. It's changed now. It's just it's on a slight delay. Oh no, it's because he stopped. It's just an issue.
As soon as I get it, go back to housekeeping. As soon as I get it, I'll pull it up.
The best proof of spariness all year.
Yeah, you can just see the videos now. Look at 10th man, the individual, who I'm going to bash as an individual, because that proves a sphere, says anti-flat earther.
Well, it's obvious that he wouldn't have those screen sharing problems with his computer if it wasn't a sphere. Logically, it follows.
Logically, he wouldn't have a computer at all if it wasn't for the sphere, obviously.
No. He must have just, as he was improvising the presentation, while he was doing it, he stumbled upon this terrible, terrible fact that actually disproves the entire flat Earth. So he's just trying to mock it up right now, right? To scurry away from that. That's the reason.
Your mic's gone terrible. Have you switched mics accidentally?
Nope.
Where's 10th?
Okay, I don't know what's going on there.
I'll just log back in.
Okay, this is possibly the greatest live show I've had all year. I mean,
I'm having trouble copying this thing. Let me get to Adam personally on a
I'll
call.
speak to you in Skype. I'm going to hang up on ring 10th.
Okay.
Hello, how's my sound now?
much better. Much better.
All right.
Important stuff. So I'm really glad we didn't go through housekeeping, because obviously what with that developing conversations left, right and centre. This is really good. 113 people watching us experience technical issues with this presentation. But that's life, people. Can't all be riveting shows. Sometimes you're going to have technical issues.
Here, I'm back. Are you there?
I'm here. I didn't go anywhere. I'm live. I'm broadcasting to over 100 people.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
No, let's
Can
do
you hear
this.
me now? No, we can hear you, 10.
No, I'm trying to do this with Adam. Why am I on a live show? I'm trying to have him show me how to send this to him.
Oh, he's disappeared to go to Skype to have a conversation with you on Skype, I believe.
Yeah, not meat.
Not you, John. There we go. So we've lost half the panel during the live show. They're discussing the technical issues during the live show on a completely different platform. That would be Skype. So happy days. I mean, things couldn't really be going any better. I mean, this is ace.
And therefore, it's a sphere. Sorry,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
I mean, what you've been hinting at, John, is that we don't actually get any sphere proofs. That much is absolutely true. But what we do get is personal attacks.
All day, every day.
Say again?
I said all day, every day. It's all they got anymore.
Yeah, attack the individual. No offense.
I remember at one point in time.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember at one point in time, they used to claim they had measurements of this shit.
And before that, they used to claim they had science.
So I was right, wasn't I? 10th Man really stumbled upon this terrible factoid that disproves the entire flat Earth in his presentation, and he's like back room conferencing with Adam right now. He's the only one that could actually help him out how to get through this without revealing that evidence.
Yeah, they're basically discussing the awkward nature of how this actually proves the sphere, and halfway through the presentation he realised that. And obviously that's caused a big kerfuffle, and they've had to go away and discuss it mathematically to figure out how they're going to go around it so we can deceive the world into thinking Earth's flat. Because that's what we do, really. We spend our time figuring out in the back alleys how we can prove it's flat. Just in case anyone doesn't realise, I'm being completely sarcastic. And I'm saying it because...
And so was I.
Our opponents do that, though. They do literally spend hours upon hours upon hours figuring out how they can get around arguments that we present in terms of the obvious and observable flat nature of our world, because it troubles them greatly. So they have to spend a long time discussing it and figuring out ways around the problems we present.
How do you get a curved adjacent from a angle from a curved adjacent flat earther?
How would you get 90 if you've got a curved adjacent? How would you solve the problem that you've presented to me that I can't solve?
Yeah, but they overlooked that there really isn't any problem at all, because there's just terrestrial refraction, which makes it look perfectly flat, and that's really what you need when operating an optical tool, you know?
Yeah, you're going to need half of that.
Yeah, but you can't get it because of terrestrial refraction.
Right. This is something they don't understand. It's going
anymore.
to take a couple of months. I don't think it'll take anywhere near as long as the Black Swan, but they will get it eventually. They've started to cotton on pretty quick, which is to say that after 2 straight years of denying they've got straight lines to the horizon, always refracted, never no atmo day, always refraction, these claims have been barked at us for 2 years. So when it comes to you drawing a sphere without an R value because you can't get it anymore, underneath a straight line that you've corrected your sphere belief to, you're not going to get away with just barking out that you've got a straight line to the horizon now. Now that is unfortunate for the people who come here and go, yeah, straight line to the horizon. You're like, no, not no atmo day for you, Fundy. Did you forget the 2 years of rebutting us by saying it's refracted? No straight lines ever. Yeah, that's a big problem when you need straight lines for this trig. Go and have a curved adjacent.
It only seems like a straight line now.
It's got to be straight.
Them.
Geometric fact, it must be. It's unfortunate for them. Leave your sphere belief at the door.
Well, they better improve upon their donkey dick geometry, right?
Donkey dick geometry
What
is
you
the
gotta
reason
do?
they can't do this trig. Okay, so we've got Adam. Let's see if you can flick through to the next page. No!
Shall we give it a... Should we just start again?
We've got to see if Adam can actually make it move. Yes, he can. Look at that. You see, we are super slick. It's not 29 minutes into the live show. This is why we didn't do housekeeping. Doesn't quite fit on the page now, though. We'll deal with it. It'll have to be like that. Okay, I'll move it around.
My job here is done.
Looks okay on your side, but for the audience, it's got black bars, which I'm very, very anal about. But there we go. It's just going to have to be that way.
It's just the first slide. The others will be fine.
Okay. Right, 10th man. Got your first slide.
Okay, here we go.
Take
Thank
3.
you, Adam. Sextant angle measuring instrument. As you can see here, you hold it, you look through the telescope, you need to aim it at the horizon and work with the stars to get an angle. Next slide, please. So what's an angle? When you measure an angle, you need to identify a vertex. So here, as you can see, step 1 is vertex is O. And the step 2 for measuring an angle, place the center of the protractor on the vertex. Okay, what's step 3? Align the protractor's baseline along OY and note the degree. This is exactly what's taking place. Next slide. Types of angles. There's an acute angle, which is less than 90, an equal right angle equal to 90, an obtuse angle greater than 90 and less than 180, a straight angle 180, a reflex angle greater than 180 and less than 360, and then a complete angle equal to 360. Right angle to the right here, the angle that exactly measures 90 degrees is a right angle. So when we hear and talk about sextant and take your 90, minus from 90, subtract from 90, it has to be a right angle because it's got the 90. Okay, it's pretty obvious. It is also considered as half a straight angle, as half of 180 makes a right angle. Next slide. A sextant is an extremely precise protractor used to measure the angle between the horizon and the heavenly body. So as you can see, if Adam points up to that star, that's at 90, and then the horizon, there's your right angle. It's just very simple. Next slide. What does a sextant measure? A sextant is a navigational instrument used to measure angles. In celestial navigation, it measures the angle between the horizon and the celestial body, star or a planet. Used horizontally, it can measure the angle between two terrestrial objects, say a lighthouse, spire, or a pier. Next slide, please. The sextant is a navigational tool that measures elevation using angular distances. You can use a sextant to determine the altitude in the sky of the sun, moon, or other celestial bodies relative to the horizon. As you can see here in the picture, the observer is right there where the vertex would be. So he's got a GP. And then the star is over there, and it's got a GP directly over there somewhere. And there's your horizon line, the green. And it's an elevation angle. And it only works with a flat baseline. Next. Zenith distance. This is key because the sextant doesn't measure zenith distance. It's a complement of the first measurement, the angle. Zenith distance of a body is the angular distance from the observer's zenith. So you see, it's the angular distance from your zenith. It's the complement of the body's altitude. When the altitude is found by measurement with the sextant, the corresponding measured zenith distance becomes available. As you can see there with the blue dotted line. That is the radius from the GP of the sun or star to you. That is in nautical miles. Next slide. Altitude, height observed, is the observed height of the star or sun and how co-altitude, 90 degrees minus height observed, the elevation angle, is the complement of the measured altitude, also known as the zenith distance. Co-altitude equals 90 degrees minus the observed height of the sighted star. Whenever you hear them squeal when we say 90, this is why. So now you've got the first part already measured. Now I'm just highlighting this, the second part, the complement, the angle, the co-altitude, the zenith distance. Next. Altitude or elevation, the angle the object makes with the horizon. Objects that seem to touch the horizon have an altitude of 0 degrees, while those straight above you are 90 degrees. The zenith distance is 90 degrees minus the body's altitude above the horizon, the complement of the altitude, and hence is also known as co-altitude. I took the liberty to take another image where they have 3 circle of equal altitudes, and each of them would be different radiuses from the GP of the star 1, star 2, star 3 to the observer. But it's pretty obvious that when I do that drawing of the complement, the zenith angle, the distance with the dotted line, that is what you're looking for after you get the elevation angle. This is how it works, folks. This is all from their books, by the way. All these quotes and everything is from their books. Next, please. Well, what about Alt-Az coordinate system? This is a local coordinate system to use for locating objects in the sky as seen from a point on the Earth's surface. Key point. Azimuth is the angle of the celestial object around the sky from north. It measures along the horizon in from north, 0 degrees, through east, 90 degrees, south, 180 degrees, west, 270, and back to north. So if you look at the image to the right, north would be starting 0 because it can also be 360. And then to the right would be 90. And then straight down from north would be south, 180. And so you know that GP of that sun, the bearing would be something past 180 and before 270. So we can guess and say it's 205. But it's in the book once you do it. So that's how you get your bearing to the GP. Next slide. This is interesting. This came from one of their sites. A guy took a paper plate and decided to show it in a simpler fashion, I guess wanting to communicate to younger minds, but it's the same thing. Right angle. An angle that measures exactly 90 degrees is called a right angle. It is formed when two sides of an angle are perpendicular to each other. They don't like that word either, perpendicular. So as you can see on the paper plate, you've got a sailboat. Directly above would be the zenith of the navigator holding the sextant. So there's your 90, but you can't get a 90 unless you have a flat baseline to be perpendicular. So there's your 90 degree. And then you measure the altitude of the star, the red, and then the co-altitude, the zenith distance, would be the difference. If you go to the right, same thing. Height is elevation angle measured from horizon. Zenith angle measured from vertical. You can see it's matching everything I've shown so far. And then A equals azimuth angle measured clockwise from north. So you get your bearing, your direction. Next slide. Let's suppose you just used your sextant to determine that the angle between your celestial body and the horizon is 30 degrees. So your elevation angle is 30 degrees in this case, is seen in the picture below. From the rule of right triangles. Now I'm going to read that again. From the rule of right triangles, we know that the angle between a line extending up from your position and the celestial body is 60 degrees. Well, how do we know that? Well, 90 minus 30 equals 60. Pretty simple. You can see an interesting relationship between this angle in the air. You know those arc minutes and all that, nautical miles, comes from the angle in the air. You just measured the angle between your ground position, back to the ground, and the celestial GP. In essence, you just measured how many degrees of arc lie between you and the celestial GP traveling on the surface of the Earth. Not the center of the Earth, the surface of the Earth. What does 60 degrees of arc between you and the celestial GP mean? If you remember the old rule that 1 minute of arc equals 1 nautical mile, you have your answer. Your distance from the celestial GP is 3,600 nautical miles. How do we know that? Well, you minus 30 from 90 gives you 60. 60 times 60 nautical miles, 3,600 nautical miles. You are now entitled to draw a circle of position, a radius, 3,600 nautical miles around your celestial body, and be reasonably sure that you are somewhere on it. Stephen M. Kastner, PhD, is a researcher for NASA and author of 2 books. Next slide, please. Right angle, circle of equal altitude, a circle on the Earth that is the focus of all points equidistant from the substellar point of a celestial body. Another point, the GP. The altitude of a celestial body is measured from any point on that circle is the same, also called circle of position. So as you can see here on that one image, the navigator somewhere on that circle, they just don't know where they are until they do a second or a third. And to the right, we use the same illustration from their books showing a pole and how you can measure 60 degrees and it's equidistant anywhere on that circle. Next slide. So what is a circle of equal altitude? Back to that other slide. Well, if you sight one star, you're not really triangulating, but you know you're somewhere on that circle. But when you get the second star and third star, you can triangulate. And this is what it's showing here. And notice they got the box designating right angles. This is from baller site, not flat earth sextant sites. This is their drawing. This is what they're telling you is happening. And then we know what the zenith distance is the complement of each of those altitude measurements. Next. It looks like this. So if you shot 2 stars, you'd have the subpoint or the GP of the moon and the sun right there. And where the cross is where you are. Now, you know that you took off from Spain and you're somewhere near the coast of Morocco. So it wouldn't be the one in Brazil. because of your dead reckoning the day before. So now you know exactly where you are in relationship to everything. Next. The big lie. This is the big lie for all those people who like to look at pictures and say, see, it shows it working on the globe. Well, no, not really. So as you can see here, and Adam, if you can take the cursor to the center of this globe model, you can see that's half of this protractor. And notice the plane. That's a flat baseline there all the way to the equator line, which, by the way, even on their model is 0 degrees. So you got your baseline 0 degrees all the way to 90. You can't get a more maximum altitude or elevation angle than 90. So it's a right angle. I don't know why they're afraid of right angles. Oh, I know, because it's a big lie. It doesn't emanate from the center of the Earth. It comes from the surface. In celestial navigation, we know that the sum of the angle and its complement is equal to 90 degrees. They form the right angle together. Next slide. This is what's happening. Everything, I'll give credit where credit's due. Nathan Oakley said everything below that horizon line is a lie. They first measure it flat. Then they draw pictures to show you that, look, this is where we're getting it from. It's not happening, folks. Any evidence? You can have a curved adjacent while acquiring an elevation angle. It's impossible. Next slide. Well, bye-bye ball, right? The black swan, because if they were going to prove a sphere, they could easily do it. But in this picture from BLMSB 69, he's at a 1 foot observer height. And according to 3959 radius, guess what? The limitation of that geometric horizon, the thing that blocks boats and buildings, the bottom first, has to be 1.22 miles. And yet we see platform Hill House at 6.21 miles. We see platform Habitat at 9.41 miles. And clearly the horizon is beyond that. So Earth curve is not where Earth curve should be, which means Earth is not curving. You follow? Next slide. Shout out to QE, who put together the Molus Tollens. It's going to leave a mark, and it has. That's where the Sextant was born. If P, then Q. Not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, we're begging the question for you, ballers. If it is, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, Q, based on your curve calculators. Not Q, horizon distance is greater than 9.41 miles, therefore not P. Earth is not a sphere. Next slide. The height of the sun or of any star in the sky is called its altitude. And so the altitude is always an angle to be measured in degrees and minutes. The point directly overhead is the zenith. The angle between lines drawn to the horizon and the zenith is 90 degrees, or a right angle. Navigation, Harold Jacobi, professor of astronomy. Last slide. Any evidence you can have a curved adjacent while acquiring an elevation angle? Nathan, what do you think?
I think it's an excellent presentation. Very well done. So although I said it in the build-up to the presentation, that's the accumulation of lots and lots of information followed by lots of traps being laid out for ballers to give us their absolute annihilation of their own claim. And be welcome to Flat Earth as a result, because to answer the question, any evidence you can have a curved adjacent whilst acquiring an elevation angle? No. It defies the trig. This is what you need. This is what you use, and this is how it's done. This, on the right-hand side, isn't. It's absolutely absurd. You've only got to look at it to know it's absolutely ludicrous. No, you can't have a curved adjacent. It's got to be straight for it to be a triangle with a right angle. Excellent work, 10th Man. Does anybody
I agree.
Just want to do one quick shout out to Fiber Oats, who says support Flat Earth debate with a super chat. So thank you very much indeed for the support yourself, Fiber Oats. Go ahead, anybody on the panel or anybody in Discord.
Yeah, I just want to say great job, Tent. Outstanding. That's the big one right there. That baseline with the check. Check. This is how it's done. You should have put a big X on the ball one though.
Yeah, great job, 10th.
Very good.
Thanks, guys. The teeter-totter is a big enough X.
Yeah, but just to really slam it in their face, put a big X marks the spot.
This is from their site. I did not make these slides up. Both pictures are from a navigational site.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh boy.
See, this is why I was so confident the whole time. I just kept using their information against them.
Right, Adam, did you want to add something?
I just to really reiterate, but may have been missed, but this is really quite interesting, this, but the alt-as coordinate system, this is key to it as well. And this is very different to the celestial placing. This is how the grid system for you. And just what I wanted to point out how this grid system is defined, lot, is we take the observer, we take magnetic north as our first reference point, and then on a flat plane, we designate our bearing. That's what the azimuth angle is. But again, you can see that's playing out on a flat plane to go up to then get your zeniths, get your elevation angles. But again, it's another visual representation of the maths and what it's doing there. That this, even the azimuth angle, what you see, is applied onto a flat planar surface. It's not teetering on the top of that ball, that azimuth angle.
Did you want to shout out QNFE as they're in the chat right now?
Is he in the chat? Wicked. Yeah, I'll just say, I'll spam I'll stop this presentation, but I'll spam the link again. And just to give him that shout out, there's a lot of stuff in that. Like I said, there's that first bit, which is to do with the NASA, but go watch it. It's some nice, I think it's Google SketchUp. That he smashes with, like I say, pointing out as you put these measurements onto a ball, then they should be, as I talked about, meeting off in infinity. I think the one QFE does is the moon, which should actually not be off to infinity. So it should have a place of meeting, a point in 3D space. What he's shows is it doesn't, and even more anomalies. And I think I'll say just refer people to a really, really good video, as he would say, a piece of shit. It's a great catchphrase. So yeah, shout out QFE, and yeah, was it SketchUp? Yeah, cool. There's your link there, bruv. So yeah, go watch it. Lots of quality information. And the final bit I want to say, it relates to this because QFE knows it. He understands it properly as well. And he makes a much better point when I'm talking about your personal dome and your celestial sphere. This is the same thing. And he'll make the point that this works for us. Like I say, it works for us to figure out where we are, not where they are. So yeah, shout out QFE. Great.
Hey, Nathan. I've been challenged by Akuma Virus. I'm looking at YouTube chat here, and he says that's not true 10th. So, Virus, come on the show. Tell me what I shared that can't be backed as truth. Don't make claims that you can't support.
There's nothing new that you've shared, which is nice. I mean, if you're a subscriber to my second channel or a channel member of Nathan Oakley 1980, then you'll be up to date with all of the uncut shows, which I call the pre-show, the bit before the live show, and then the after show is the after show. But in the pre-shows, for the last 6 to 8 months, we've had a stream of this information coming from 10th Man off the back of his research with Globe Believers published documents on the Sextant. Now, we've presented them and presented them and presented them. So there's nothing new in what we've presented today. I know you're itching to defend what you've just presented, but there's nothing new here at all. That's good. That's not a negative comment, 10th, by the way.
No. I'm not itching to defend anything. It's a reckless statement by a person who's been on the show all those times, has embarrassed himself by saying he needs a horizon. It's a straight line to the horizon. What did I veer from that? Did I lie somewhere, virus? I mean, this is silly for you to be in chat. Every time you come, you get demolished, and then in chat you think you win because no one calls you out. Well, I'm calling you out. I put a lot of time into this presentation. Show me where I lied about it. I used all the information from your side of the camp. I've got over 30 books talking about heliocentrism and angles. This is all from your books.
Well,
It's projection, Tent. It's projection.
if you do want to join, you can join the live stream queue, virus, and I'll add you to the live stream show if you want to deal with this now. If not, fair enough. We both know it's all old data. It's all been covered long before. And I'll stress what I stressed at the beginning of the presentation from 10th Man, which is to say that this is a flat earth proof. You and us, that would be, let's include the third group, anti-flat earthers, flat earthers, and globers all require this to be done on a flat plane. Now, if you happen to come into this discussion about sextants with a fundamentalist religious belief that the Earth is a sphere, then you're going to be correcting that. Now, you've bastardised something we call height of eye correction, otherwise known as dip correction, and have turned it into something it isn't, which is to say a correction for you from your fundy sphere belief geometric horizon we debunked, and you told us you haven't got a straight line to anymore for 2 straight years, to a flat plane. So even if you come here with a fundy sphere belief, you're going to be correcting that flat before we move any further. Now, this is a lot to take in for a lot of you on the anti-flat earth side, I know. Doesn't change the fact that you're going to be correcting your sphere belief. Yes, whoever that is, go ahead.
May I bring something new into the table?
Feel free.
Now, when I question life or how the world works,
Thank God.
always a question. There's always a question which is more fundamental to anything that is happening, which is the question of what is the intention? Now, what is the intention of this world being this way? I mean, the shape of the world, we argue about that all the time. But what is the reason that, first of all, that was hidden?
Come on, you've
And
been
second
over
of
this
all-
before. The same
power.
thing.
Power and control. Men like to control other men. Power, control. That's it. It's just that simple.
That's a good guess, but it's not necessary to know the motivation of a liar to know he's lying.
Exactly.
No, but we can see the
Control.
outcome of their lie, and it is power and control.
What is God's intention then? I mean, let's say, yeah, that's the bad guy's intention. Let's say, okay. But what is God's intention for us?
I don't know. You're asking for the meaning of life here, you realise.
It's so hard to find the truth.
The meaning of life.
No, it's not.
2 times 21.
Oh, don't give us
It's
42.
not hard to find the
No,
truth.
no. What?
You said it, not me.
disagree.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? You can't even get close to ever being sure of the motivations of any man. What kind of idiot would think he could divine the motivations of God? That's just...
Yeah, but any intellectual will pursue that knowledge.
Yeah.
Anyone with half a brain knows they'll never get to the answer.
It might seem that way outwardly to you that an intellectual would pursue those things that we're detailing. However, on a much more fundamental level, everybody's just trying to avoid death and get laid. Death and sex are the 2 most prevalent things that will permeate your brain for the rest of your natural born life. Don't get run over by that bus. Oh, that girl looks nice. That's it. That's your base instinct.
Let me give a direct answer because I know where he's going. They want power and control. They would have to give up power and control if they relinquish evolution, atheism, all that. And if the earth is not what they say it is, then there's a higher authority than government. and people would look to God's word rather than government and say, God is the highest, not you. And that would mean they have no power and control.
Hold
Nathan's
on.
right.
You've inserted government, which is fine because that's obvious and overt. When I say it's obvious, they want power and control. You can just look at the control system we live in and assert that without any concern that someone's going to challenge me on it. However, when you say government, when we're substituting religion and their control they had before they introduced the heliocentric model, then that's a slightly different story.
No, I didn't say religion.
I said
I'm
the
not
church.
into religion.
Well,
I'm not even saying the church. I'm saying
I am.
creator. No, I know you are, because that's of course how Satan used it to deceive people. But the whole point is the creator. They don't want a creator because then the creator is above the government. And then the people are going to say, well, that's not the reason I was made. That's not my purpose. But if they take away the creator, then they have power and control.
Okay, but now it makes everything more difficult because we have an enemy in the intermediate level between us and the truth, which have been deceiving our fathers and mothers and everyone around us, our teachers. They successfully deceived most people. And the Bible says, when he appears, we will be like him because we will see him just as he is. So, yeah, maybe we can deduce a reason from that. But at the moment, life is just too confusing because whatever we learn is open to critical investigation. And when you investigate into anything, you will find flaws in it.
No, that's not true. Some things are empirical. Science is empirical. That's why I like that subject. Some things aren't agree or disagree. And when you've got an outcome that has been validated and the antithesis invalidated, then you've got nowhere else other than a conclusion to summarise. That's all you've got. You can extrapolate out from that and bullshit around it, and you can pull that apart after the fact. But the empiricism offered by science defies your last statement. Certain things can be proven.
The word of God says, hang on, the word of God says, ask, seek, and knock. God has not left us here without solution. Every individual, by their conscience, will stand before God. In your life, he's offering you, seek me, you will find me. Knock, I will open the door. Ask, and I will answer. That's what I did at 14. And that's what everybody has to do on their own time as the leading of the Holy Spirit. That's why you can't force people into Christianity or make religions demanding things. That's what Satan wanted to do so he could smear the love of God.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, smashed the PayPal link and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either Premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!